Welcome to another episode. We call them episodes of Newark Academy's Coaches Corner. And today I'm very, very happy to welcome into our studio of sorts, Coach Pomykala, our head softball coach. Coach, welcome along.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So, Coach, the first question I have for you is, where did you begin your coaching career and why did you become a coach?
So I actually was blessed enough to start my coaching career pretty young. I started at 17. I was asked by the town travel program to assist with the 8U and 10U travel teams. They were promoting the high school varsity softball players to get more involved. So we started in the summer program working on practices. Then they involved us into the games, and we kind of essentially took over the programs. And I did that all through my college career because I was home during the summer to do it. But I really started coaching right out of college. Excuse me. My assistant varsity coach had stepped away from the program, reached out to me, and said, I'm stepping down because I'm having a child. You should reach out to the head coach. And I reached out to my high school head coach, and he was like, yeah, I want you to come on board. So at 21, 22 years old, I was able to step in as the assistant varsity coach at my high school. And it kind of led into a multitude of other things. I was asked to coach a club team right in my first season, and kind of led me to here now of 17 years of coaching club and town and high school softball. But I think, like most coaches, I have a love for the game and a love for the kids. And I stepped away for 2 years total once I had my son, and I missed it. And I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to step in here at Newark Academy and coach. And it was kind of a blessing in disguise. I thought I didn't want to coach anymore, but when you step away, you see how much you need it. So I was happy to come back into it.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned some coaches, your high school coach that you had obviously worked with. Were there mentors in your career that you model your style after?
Yes. So my first club coach, I started playing club softball at 14, and my first club coach was Jim Ferretti. He was the Passaic Valley softball coach. He was an older guy who was originally a baseball player who then stepped into softball when he got a little older. And he was a tough guy, a really tough guy to play for, very stern, very intimidating, so much by the book. It was his way or no way. But he was welcoming, and you realize that he was going to push you to your limits and make you better and not back down, but he was always going to be there to support you. And I think that's after I stopped playing for him and moved on, I realized how much influence he had in the beginning of my career at a young age.
So now that we've talked a little bit about your coaching influences, let's talk about student athletes. What do you look for in the ideal student athlete in your sport?
I look for a student athlete who's willing to try their hardest, who's dedicated, who's a team player, who's doing the right thing when no one is looking. I think it's important that they understand that there's 9 players on the field. Obviously, there's more girls on the team, but you work together, and your one mistake or your one success is everybody's mistake and everybody's success. So it's important that they understand that it's a team, and we're here to become a family, and it's going to grow beyond just the season.
So as we start to talk about those ideal traits in student athletes, what sort of values do you look to instill in your?
So I'm a big preacher of body language. I think how you present yourself and hold yourself on and off the field is a representation of who we are and what we are about. I expect my players to be dedicated, to have a good body language and positive attitude at all times, to do the right thing, and most importantly, be passionate about what you're doing. If you don't have the passion, you're not going to have the drive to be successful. And they kind of all work together.
So softball, obviously being a spring sport, talk me through how your program has been impacted and how you have handled the difficulties, the complexities that 2020 has thrown at us.
Yeah, so this, like I said, I've been playing and coaching softball for a really long time, and this is the first time ever I think I've ever experienced anything like this. Obviously, unfortunately, we were unable to have a season last spring due to the COVID-19, but I think that our girls did a really good job rallying together. We met once or twice a week on Zoom. We tried to do some creative things by doing a throwing video where it looks like we're throwing to each other. And we did some pictures to support the hospital workers and, all the people out there supporting people suffering from the COVID. But, we did the best we could. It's the hardest thing, but I know that my girls are missing being on the field. And I'm just, hoping that we can get back out there again this spring.
Why should a prospective student athlete join Newark Academy?
So, I've been working at Newark Academy for 7 years, and I was fortunate enough to coach actually basketball with Coach Bona before I started working here. And I realized early on that Newark Academy is the athletic program. It's not just about sports. It's a community, and it's a community that continues on even after you graduate. And I think what's special about the athletic program is that the student athletes are so diverse in their passions and their loves within sports and outside of sports. And it creates quite a unique dynamic that allows different people to come together and be one. But most importantly, after they move on from sports here at Newark Academy, they have something come back to, and something that drives them back to come and talk and be involved and do things here at Newark Academy.
What piece of advice would you give to a young coach who's just starting their career?
I think the first thing I would say is make sure your ego's in check. It's a hard thing to do. You have to be able to adapt and evolve. The sports are forever changing, and there are so many curveballs nowadays compared to back in the day, with technology, with what pandemics and whatnot. So you have to be willing to adapt, know your community, know your players, be their support on and off the field, but not just from your season, but throughout the entire year. And be willing to learn and listen and accept your mistakes. Accountability is everything, and learn from it.
Well, Coach Pomykala, thank you so much for sharing with us today and being here with us. Like I've done with all our other coaches, I do want to give you the last word. If there's anything else that you would like to say, and then we can leave it at that.
No, I think everyone just keep your head up, stay strong. We're persevering through this, and there will be a light at the end of the tunnel. And, we hope it's soon.